What up, YouTube, and welcome to episode 11 of Low League Madness. On the bottom right-hand side of the map, we have our red Zerg player, codenameCAKE. I love that name, man. And on the top left-hand side of the map, we have our blue Protoss player, Haldeon. This is going to be a silver versus silver level matchup, so should be a fun one today. And codenameCAKE actually going for the 11 pool, so I'm getting some cheese vibes from this guy. codenameCAKE, you are doing something a bit suspicious here, but we'll find out in a little bit. Haldeon going for something a bit more standard. Looks like preparing to wall off the ramp, or I guess the hallway to his natural base. So I think Haldeon is going to be going for more of a macro play style and moving this probe to his third base location. This would be a very weird spot for a proxy hatch, but checking it nonetheless. And codenameCAKE, man, following the spawning pool up with two extractors. We've seen this once before on my channel. I will link that video on the top right hand corner, but if I'm right, I think this might be a Ravager one base all in coming from our red Zerg player. Sure enough, we see the Roach Warren. Oh my god, if this is going to be a Ravager all in, man, I'm getting some deja vu from one of my previous casts. This is going to be hard for Haldeon to hold if he doesn't prepare. He only just now has the gateway coming down. He still doesn't have a cyber core, and he still doesn't have a nexus, so he doesn't have a lot. Finally throwing down that cybernetics core, but this Roach Warren's already almost done, and the cyber core is just now starting. Zealots against Roaches and Ravagers are not ideal until they have charge. It would be much easier to hold this with a few Stalkers. So, oh no, Haldeon is going to be caught completely off guard. Has he even scouted once? Okay, he scouted once, and he actually does see the Roach Warren. So I missed that scout. So he sees what's happening. He has some knowledge of what's going on, and also this tells you, a Roach Warren this early tells you that this is a one base all in. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but man, if I saw this early of a Roach Warren and I did not get one base all in, I'd probably leave the game just because I got tricked. I'd be like, yeah, man, that's a great play, and I'll leave and give you the win because you totally threw me off. And sure enough, the Ravager cocoons are here. We have 3 Ravagers on the way to the Protoss side of the map. And the only thing we have are 2 Zealots. And we finally have what is going to be a Stalker coming down. We do have the shield battery, but this is also all backed by 1 pylon. If the corrosive vials are able to snipe this pylon, all these buildings become unpowered. And Haldeon is in a very, very stressful position. I would love to see one more pylon coming to back up these buildings, especially if he knows that there are Ravagers on the way, man. I am so stressed, and I'm not even playing this game, bro. Oh, no. The Nexus is finishing up, so Haldeon will have a bit of an economic advantage, but that's if he's even able to survive this push. He only has 1 Stalker. He has a 2nd Stalker on the way. Oh, man. Warp Gate is almost finished. I would love to see a chrono boost on that because we are going to see what is 6 Ravagers poking at the front door against 2 Stalkers and 2 Zealots. Oh my god. And we have what is going to be a Stargate and 1 more gateway. So we're only going to have 2 Warp Gates, and a Stargate will be fine. Void Ray is actually not a bad way to defend this, but we already have the push. Haldeon does have the 2nd pylon right here, so even if codenameCAKE manages to snipe this pylon, we still have the one backing up these buildings. I believe this is all within range. As we can see, these Zealots practically useless, but not totally, because they're actually chasing these Ravagers away just a little bit, forcing codenameCAKE to micro and stutter step away. Okay, it does look like the cybernetics core is unpowered now, but Warp Gate is finished, which is the important part. But the cybernetics core is still very important to keep alive, because once this goes down, no more Stalkers and no more ranged against the Ravagers. The only thing he would be able to pump out from these Warp Gates are Zealots if he does not keep the cyber core alive, but somehow manages to keep it alive for just a second. But I have a feeling it's about to go down right now. And codenameCAKE letting it stay alive for just a little bit, and now there's not going to be any stalkers coming out for the time being. We do have the Stargate that finished, and Haldeon has plenty of money, and he's not spending it. He's floating 1k minerals and 500 gas. He could easily start building a Void Ray to try and push this off, but I think the micro is what he's focused on right now. And honestly, for Silver League, for a low league madness game, the micro isn't too bad, but it is at the cost of the macro. And we have 1,300 minerals, a couple zealots being built. There's no cybernetics core being put down. We do have what is going to be the Void Ray, but Haldeon is supply blocked. This is huge. Oh my god. codenameCAKE doing a decent job at spending his money. He's floating quite a lot of gas, but he's not floating nearly 1,200 resources. He's floating, minerals. He's floating 400 minerals now, but doing a decent job. He's expanding behind this, and we see what is going to be, oh, sorry about that, some Zerglings on the way. Speed is not finished. The only upgrade on the field right now is Warp Gate. So these are slow, unwinged Zerglings. They have not grown their wings yet. They have not had their Red Bull. Oh my god, dude. Cybernetics core just now coming down. The first Void Ray is about to finish. Haldeon is no longer supply blocked, but he still has a decent amount of Ravagers to deal with. This is only a few Zerglings. Haldeon will be able to take care of this. They're effectively just a nuisance, but we do have the Hero Void Ray. This actually may be able to chase the Ravagers away, able to snipe one of these Ravagers. Now we're down to 4 Ravagers, a few more Zerglings. I would love to see speed on the way, though. Unfortunately, though, codenameCAKE is not researching this. I think both players are a bit preoccupied with microing their armies. Haldeon actually able to hold this. The reason being, this was a one base all in, but the one base all in kind of stopped. We maxed out at, I think, 6 Ravagers and no more. If codenameCAKE committed to that and kept pumping out Ravagers, I think he could have won the game about 3 minutes ago. But that did not happen. So Haldeon still in this game and expanding, throwing down a 3rd Nexus behind this. So he is pretty unfazed. Respect. Haldeon, I've got some respect right now. Most low-level players, I think, would be too scared to expand behind what was clearly an all-in. The only other suggestion I would have would be to push out and poke the front door of your opponent, because you took out about 6 Ravagers. You took out a ton of army supply, and you were able to hold a one base all-in, which means that you're ahead. As we can see, he's at 50 army supply compared to 8. If Haldeon pushed out right now, he would win. He would straight up win, but I do understand he wants to keep his army at home just in case he needs to defend a little bit more. I would possibly put down 1 more shield battery and a stalker just to close this wall off a little bit, just in case that codenameCAKE tries to flood him with speedlings, but that's not going to happen because we have what is going to be a Hydra Den and a Spire. I would normally say this is too gas heavy for 2 bases, but, and also just mining gas off 1 base, but he is banking 1,300 gas, so this is going to be a good gas dump for codenameCAKE right here. Both Hydralisks and Mutalisks, relatively expensive unit for the Zerg. For the Zerg race. So that would be kind of interesting to see Hydra Mutalisk combo coming out from our Zerg player. You see 3 Hydras on the way. Are we going to see Hydra Muta? That would be weird. I don't think I've ever actually seen that before. Great job, Haldeon. Okay, throwing down an hallucinated Phoenix. This is a Silver League hallucinated Phoenix that we're witnessing right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is a higher level play than I expected. Haldeon, my guy, you were able to hold off a 1 base all in, and you have the knowledge of what you should be doing. So I don't think you're going to be stuck in Silver League for much longer, man. I really don't. Able to scout what is going to be an expansion right here for codenameCAKE, and checking for the other locations, and also not overcommitting his hallucinated Phoenix. Realized if there is an expansion right here that's already finished, there would be creep within sight of that, so he didn't even have to fly all the way over there to confirm. Yeah, sure, if it was still building, there would be no creep, but I think Haldeon has a pretty good idea of what's happening at the moment. We see what is going to be Mutas and Lurker Den. So it's going to be Lurker Muta. What a wild and kind of expensive combo, especially for 2 base Zerg. Man, I don't know. I mean, we're at 82 army supply for the Protoss player. He was able to hold off that 1 base all-in, and the nature of 1 base all-ins is you want it to do enough damage to keep you in the late game, or you want it to just straight up win you the game, and none of that happened, really. Taking a look at the worker count right here, it's 71 workers to 31 in favor of the Protoss. That is not something we see often, and we see what is going to be a 4th base coming out for Haldeon. So Haldeon, man, I don't know if you're smurfing or if you just if you're just feeling confident in this game. We do have lurkers on the way, and we have Mutalisks. And I didn't even notice this, but we have capital Protoss ships right now, at least 1. We have what is going to be 1 carrier and 2 more carriers on the way, followed by a Void Ray. All right, so Corruptors are very good against carriers, but we also have a lot of stalkers right here. Taking a look at the upgrades, it's still only Warp Gate. That's the only upgrade on the field. We do have +1 sky weapons and +1 sky armor coming out for the Protoss player, and he's pushing out. This is a huge push. The only thing is, I don't think this army has detection. So the lurkers, they will not get any damage dealt to them, so all these stalkers are a little bit at risk. The only flying units we have are I think that's 5 or 6 Void Rays. Let me check. That is 5 Void Rays and 1 carrier and a decent amount of mutas, but Haldeon has to be careful to not take too much damage from these lurkers. We'll either have to run into the main base to keep these stalkers safe and leave the flying units back home to deal with this expansion right here coming out from the Zerg player, or that came out from the Zerg player, excuse me. We have a couple Spore Crawlers building in the main base, 3 of them, but I think this is too little too late. I think all the stalkers died. Is that what happened? Did all the stalkers go down to these lurkers? 9 kills on this lurker, 7 kills on this lurker, 18 kills on this lurker on the right-hand side. So I think all those stalkers got killed by 3 lurkers. And that's exactly what I was saying, was without that detection and seeing that lurker spines are everywhere, just run your army away from those spines. We still have what is going to be a pretty strong Protoss Sky army, and as we can see, codenameCAKE leaving the game, unfortunately for him. That 1 base all in, not doing enough damage and allowing Protoss to expand unfazed. So, a very wild episode of Low League Madness. If you enjoyed what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want me to cast any of your own games, I will leave my email in the description below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.